Hi everyone, welcome to the Celebrity Diaries. John Witherspoon, a dearest American joke artist and entertainer, left a permanent mark on media outlets at the hour of his passing in 2019. Witherspoon's total assets were assessed to be around $4 million. Witherspoon's distinguished lifetime crossed different classifications and mediums. However, it's his depiction of Willie Jones in the cherished parody series Friday that really sets his place in mainstream society history as Willie Jones. Witherspoon epitomized a person overflowing with energy and appeal, filling in as the dad figure to the fundamental hero. Craig Jones Willie was the quintessential neighborhood patriarch, a wellspring of chuckling astuteness and authentic fondness. Witherspoon's depiction was nothing shy of unbelievable, implanting Willie with an exceptional mix of humor, mind, and genuine truthfulness. What set Witherspoon apart was his intrinsic comedic ability and unquestionable charm. He easily instructed the screen, conveying famous expressions and irresistible giggling that waited in the personalities of crowds long after the credits rolled. At this point in the midst of the comicalness, Witherspoon additionally depicts Willie as a profoundly mindful and principled person, whose exhortation was just about as solid as it was adoring, whether apportioning pearls of astuteness from his esteemed patio or taking part in Eeyores ventures with his neighbors. Willie Jones left a permanent impact on watchers. John Witherspoon, a Detroit local brought into the world on January 27, 1942, had a familial association profoundly established in both music and the local area. In spite of being one of 11 kin, he stood apart for his abilities, as well as likewise for his assurance to cut his own way. Witherspoon's familial ties were weaved with the music business. His sibling William Witherspoon, a light-moan artist, created a few diagram beaters during the 1960s in a cooperative exertion. Joan loaned his melodious ability to his sibling, co-composing the ageless 1966 hit What Happens to the Despondent. Their common melodic undertakings exhibited a familial cooperative energy that resounded through their work past the domain of music. The Witherspoon family bragged an amazing exhibit of abilities and accomplishments. One more of Jones' siblings held a leader job at the PBS Broadcasting Company in Detroit, contributing to the social and instructive scene of their local area. In the interim, their sister Gertrude Stax rose to conspicuousness as a priest, using her impact to elevate and motivate the individuals of Detroit, in spite of the different ways sought after by his kin. John Witherspoon stayed enduring in his love for music. Since early on, he drenched himself in the realm of tunes, dominating instruments like the trumpet and French horn. These early encounters not only sharpened his melodic capacities, yet in addition, imparted in him a well-established enthusiasm that would shape his future undertakings. John Witherspoon's excursion to comedic fame was as fluctuated as it was energetic, set apart by a mix of demonstrating TV appearances and essential film jobs all through the 1960s and 1970s. Witherspoon adjusted his expanding satire profession with a spell as a model, exhibiting his flexibility and fascination on both the runway and the stage. It was during this time that he fashioned enduring kinships with satire legends like Richard P. R.I. Robin Williams, David Letterman, and Jay Leno, setting the stage for his climb. In the amusement world, Witherspoon's comedic ability gotten comfortable with it in highlight films, especially in the domain of satire. His jobs in religion and works of art like Friday and its spin-offs charmed him to crowds overall, displaying his capacity to imbue humor into each scene. Yet it was his talent for character work that really put him aside in films like Local Party, where he depicted an interminably bad-tempered neighbor, and Boomerang, where he exemplified the harsh mentor. Witherspoon exhibitions added profundity. Furthermore, aspect to the accounts being told. TV gave one more stage to Witherspoon to sparkle with prominent appearances on notorious shows, traversing kinds, from his introduction on CBS's Barnaby Jones to his ordinary stretch on The Richard earlier show. Witherspoon's charm and comedic timing spellbound crowds, critical visitor spots on darling series like Great Times, What's Occurring, and The Fantastic Mask further hardened his spot in the TV scene during the 1980s. Witherspoon's TV presence kept on developing with jobs on acclaimed dramatizations like Slope Road Blues. What's more, Lalonde displaying his adaptability across sorts, his depiction of Osborne on You Once More. What's more, His common job as a BFF on So Be It featured his capacity to occupy a scope of characters, with profundity and genuineness as the 1990s unfolded. Witherspoon stayed an installation on TV screens, showing up on shows like Towns and TV and Infinite Slop, his depiction of Smokey Howard on Living Single, and his champion job as Pops Williams on the Wayans Brothers hardened his status as a cherished TV character, charting him to crowds of any age. His introduction to the world universe of music recordings saw him teaming up with a portion of the industry's greatest names, loaning his comedic appeal to the visual narrating of hip bounce illuminating presences. Witherspoon's appearances in music recordings for craftsmen like Jay-Z Field Crowd, Goody Horde, and LL Cool J exhibited his capacity to flawlessly change between mediums, adding an additional layer of amusement to their graph-besting hits and, moreover, to his melodic undertakings. Witherspoon showed up on real-world TV displaying his comedic gifts on NBC's Last Comic. Standing his presence on the show's Las Vegas finals highlighted his status as a prepared performer, acquiring him acknowledgement among his friends and fans and further establishing his place in mainstream society. Witherspoon wandered into the domain of energized series, lending his voice to vital characters like Spoon in The Tracy Morgan Show and Robert Jebediah Grandad Freeman in The Backwoods. All through the 2000s, Witherspoon proceeded to grow his collection, gracing the little screen with his comedic flair in shows like Earlier Offenses and Ends of the Week at the DL. His joint effort with famous jokester Aaron Magruder on The Backcountry further hardened his status as a comedic force to be reckoned with, enamoring crowds with his unmistakable voice and comedic timing. Witherspoon's flexibility as an entertainer was obvious in his eagerness to investigate different mediums, from TV to online stages, his appearance in the YouTube parody with Shane Dawson, and his component in rapper Rationale's Blend. Date featured his capacity to interface with crowds across various arrangements. Witherspoon's heritage arrived at new levels with his depiction of Lloyd, a destitute man, in the acclaimed series Dark Jesus. His nuanced execution enthralled crowds and procured him acclaim for his capacity to handle complex characters with genuineness and profundity, women and refined men. This is presumably the part we anticipate the most. Now we take you to investigate his baffling, deserted house in Detroit, Michigan. In Detroit, Michigan, there stands an interesting piece of property once claimed by the late humorist and entertainer John Witherspoon. Working around 1969, this house turned out to be essential for Witherspoon's land portfolio and was changed under his proprietorship. He quickly remodeled the home, transforming it into an agreeable 2-room, 1-bedroom retreat planned for individual use. In spite of the updates and care put into it, the house remains empty because of reasons that are not totally clear. Entering the home, guests are invited by an intriguing living region that flaunts lovely hardwood floors, making a warm and inviting climate. The tender, loving care in the remodel is obvious, with the kitchen highlighting present-day apparatuses and smooth ledges that wed usefulness with contemporary style. This mix of exemplary and current components makes the space both down-to-earth and stylishly satisfying. One of the champion elements of the property is its incomplete cellar. This space offers a fresh start for new potential outcomes, whether for extra capacity, a custom living region, or even an imaginative work area. The adaptability of this cellar adds critical potential to the property, taking special care of a wide exhibit of future purposes arranged in the core of downtown Detroit. The house benefits from its ideal place in the midst of the city's lively energy. Inhabitants would find themselves in closeness to the dynamic beat of Detroit with simple admission to its social eating and diversion choices. This focal area upgrades the property's allure, promising a way of life that joins comfort and fervor. Since John Witherspoon's passing in 2019, the house has stayed empty and still can't seem to track down another proprietor. This time of opening leaves the home in a special condition of limbo, trusting that somebody will perceive its true capacity and revive its walls. As indicated by certain reports, John Witherspoon, the dearest comic and entertainer, claims 2 homes in the princely neighborhood of Sherman Oaks, California, as indicated by reports. He purchased his first home in 2001 for $830,000, followed by his second home in 2002 for $550,000. These houses mirror his fruitful profession and his craving to live an agreeable life in a serene climate My adored crowd. These parts of Witherspoon's vocation and life say a lot about his significance and his amazingly good nature and generosity. Thanks for watching this video.